Hi everybody, welcome to Culture Shot. We're taking a slightly different angle this week by using video instead of the usual written blog. I figure let's try and save you some time and try and impart the same sort of message as we've always been doing, but by doing it through this sort of medium. So this is how we'll be doing it going forward. And today I want to talk to you about a topic it's always on my mind actually, but in particular lately for a variety of different reasons, induction, new employee induction, and how we re-induct existing employees. Let me ask you a question. Who should own that, do you think? I mean, typically that's owned by human resources, human capital, one of the organizations responsible for people within the organization. And it makes sense because, in a way, there's a lot of process-oriented type material that goes into that. But I'd like to challenge the logic slightly and ask you this question. Are you getting the kinds of impacts out of your induction that you'd like to get? For example, are your new employees sort of emerging from this as raving fans of the organization? Are they emerging and turning into great brand ambassadors for the organization? And later on, when you get to a reinduction process a year later or something, which by the way, you absolutely ought to be doing every single year, when you're reinducting them, does it reflect? Are they still feeling the same sort of passion? Understand one thing here. When we're talking about induction, we're talking about a variety of different things. And of course, there's some process and some day-to-day stuff that we want to get right. We want people to know where the fire escapes are. But beyond that, induction is much more about a sense of narrative and directing a narrative, creating a kind of a story for the organization, one that you want people to follow. That is a marketing process. Now, I don't really mind if it's done by internal marketing or external marketing or the branding people or people within human resources. I'm not too worried about the actual human beings who conduct your induction. But I am telling you this, they need to have a marketing mindset in order for this to really work. Because beyond the health and safety information and the onboarding process, it's not a resource thing, it's a messaging thing. It's not about handling people, it's about implanting a message. It's about implanting ideas. It's about marketing the organization to people who will then go on to market the organization further to other human beings. It's about creating that whole cycle, that whole thing of a great compelling narrative within the organization. And it may not be a very subtle distinction, but I want you to consider this going forward. In organizations where human resources and marketing work together very well, this often is a thing that happens, and we know organizations that get that stuff absolutely correct. But it's a rare organization where that works. For the most part, you've got two organizations who operate in totally different silos. And so what we end up with is this situation where we're simply not getting what we want out of our people. We tell them about rules instead of telling them why we've got those rules and what the philosophy is that developed those rules in the first place. We're talking about processes. We're not telling them about why we do those and how they help us. Rules tell them what to do. Processes tell them how to do it. Narrative tells them why. And induction should be about the why. So that's what I want you to think about for this week is when you think about your induction process, are you developing a really compelling narrative that makes people walk out of that room after the day or two or week or whatever they've done going, man, I've made a good decision here. I have joined a great organization. I didn't know it was this great. If you're doing that, you're getting it right. If not, I think it's probably something that you need to look at this year because you're missing a great opportunity. The good news is we've got something to help you with that coming on at the 23rd of February in Johannesburg when we run one of our induction workshops. You find details of that on happysandpit.com. Have a great week.